This is Support is Sexy, episode 75, with 16-year-old entrepreneur, author, and activist Mayah S. Penn. Welcome to the Support is Sexy podcast. I'm your host, Elayne Fluker, entrepreneur, author, producer, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I talk to women entrepreneurs who share their journeys and the true stories of their wins and their lessons, and give you insight and inspiration to take your business and your life to the next level. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. I'm thrilled to have you here. You know, it just would not be the same without you. Today, we are welcoming a young woman who is just remarkable. She is honestly an inspiration to me. Her name is Mayah S. Penn, and she is Sweet 16. And during her career, which started with her business when she was 8 years old, her first business at 8 years old, Mayah has accomplished so much. And more than that, I'm proud of that. But more than that, I'm just proud of what a grounded young woman she is, how committed she is to lifting other girls and young women up. So Mayah is a business owner of Mayah's Ideas, is the name of her company. She's also an environmentalist, so she has her own organization. She's also the author of a book recently released with Simon and Schuster called You Got This, Unleash Your Awesomeness, Find Your Path, and Share Your World. So I talked to Mayah today. We've been following each other on social media for several years, I guess since maybe about 2012. And it was such a great opportunity to have her on the show, speak to her about her business, how she started and all of that great stuff, and her plans for the future as a young woman. So on this episode, you'll hear from Mayah what parents can say and do to encourage children who have interests in entrepreneurship, the first step to launching your business at any age, her advice for other kidpreneurs, ways that we can all give back through our businesses. Also, what Mayah is doing to empower young girls around the world. Why it's imperative to have mentors and an advisory board as you scale your business, which Mayah is doing at this time. No matter how old you are, it's important for you to remember to take a break. And Mayah actually talks about why meditation and breathing space are vital to decision making in business and in life. Mayah also talks about what you can learn from failure, the importance of doing it afraid, and what she believes every entrepreneur has the responsibility to do. Also, be sure to go to Mayah's website, mayahasideas.com, so you can get a special offer for Support is Sexy listeners. Listen till the end, and Mayah will tell you exactly how much that discount is and exactly how to get that offer. So that was very generous. Thank you, Mayah, for offering that to us. All right, so I know you're going to love this. Without further ado, Mayah Penn. So Mayah, thank you so much for joining us for an episode of Support is Sexy. I'm excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be a part of the show.
Thank you so much. So I have to ask you the first question I ask everyone. When did you first fall in love with entrepreneurship?
I used to when I was really young. I had my own businesses already where I sold plastic pizzas to my stuffed animals in my bedroom. Or, even when I was really little, I had my own pretend restaurant where the special of the day was snake soup, which is this carefully crafted blend of water and ketchup and dried beans and a plastic snake toy. And to me, those two were my own little companies. But when I started Mayah's Ideas, I knew that I was going to be starting a real business. And so I started Mayah's Ideas in 2008 when I was 8 years old. And I thought I was going to be almost the same premise, except I'm going to be doing it with real people and real money and a real product. And I really started my business out of curiosity and love of fashion design, and also a need to give back. So I'm so happy that I actually started my business because I've learned so many things that I really couldn't have learned anywhere else. I'm glad that I'm inspiring other women and girls to pursue entrepreneurship and start their own businesses as well. And that's what I really love.
Now, you said you started at 8 years old, which is just remarkable, as I'm sure everyone is thinking that. How did you know even before then that was something that you wanted to do? So, for example, did you see your parents being entrepreneurs, or where did that idea come from for you that was a possibility?
Well, my parents are entrepreneurs. My mom actually, she's a musician and a women's health advocate, and my dad is also a musician, and he does a lot with tech. But I don't know, I just kind of came up with the idea of starting my own business, mainly because I wanted a way to share my designs and my clothing designs with the world. And I wanted a way for, people to be able to kind of, I guess, appreciate my clothing designs. And I thought that one of the cooler ways to do it was to start my own business. And of course, I didn't have a business plan or anything. I was just 8 years old.
Right.
But my main two goals, and those are the main things I still keep in my business today. That I wanted to do something that's creative and that is enjoyable for me. Creating all these designs is fun for me, but also I want to give back through my business, and I want to have a philanthropic aspect, and that's why I donate a lot of my profits to environmental and women and girls' rights organizations. And that really started from my parents as well, because they instilled in me the need to give back. Like, some of my earliest memories were us going to like local food bank, or the homeless shelter, and donating clothes and food, and and recycling and different things like that. So I've always had like it's always been important to me to give back. So I know that whatever I pursued, I wanted to do something that made a positive impact on the world. And that was when I first started. That was before the whole term social entrepreneur was really kind of even getting big. So I think it's important to give back through business.
Do you consider yourself a social entrepreneur now in the businesses that you have?
I do, definitely. I've always been a social entrepreneur, I think, and even through everything that I do, because I also animate. I have a book, I have a nonprofit, and basically everything that I do, I try to have some sort of element of making a positive impact or giving back or creating awareness about an important cause.
Would you say that your parents were the biggest influence in your life growing up? And that we should say at this point you're 16, right? Did you just turn 16?
Yeah, I'm 16 now. I turned 16 in February.
So. What day? February what?
10th.
Oh, I'm February 20th. I'm not 16, but I'm February 20th. That's great.
Cool.
So would you say that your parents have been the biggest influence in your life so far, as just who you are as a person, but then, of course, even with creating your businesses?
Well, my parents have definitely been an influence in terms of, the whole giving back aspect and kind of being aware about, stuff that's happening in the world and that you can make a difference in the world. But as far as starting my business, that idea just mostly came from me, and I presented it to my parents. And I presented that idea to them, and, I'm honestly, really blessed to have parents that were supportive of all of my creativity and all of my ideas, and they were like, okay, that's cool, so we'll let you do it. I mean, of course, there was supervision early on, but they still let me kind of do my thing and really start my business, and I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. In fact, that was one of the questions I was going to ask you. What kind of things do you think parents of other children who have ideas like this, because you were 8 years old at the time, which is pretty young to say, I want to start a business, but it wasn't pretty young to say it. It was pretty young to say it and actually mean it. Like, you definitely wanted to start a business. Clearly you did it and they supported you. So what kind of things can parents who are listening know to say to their children who might have these kind of dreams that seem out of reach for them?
I think that it's important to make sure that your child knows that you care about, not only that you care about their idea and what they're passionate about, but also, make sure that they know that they can do it, whether it's today or when they're an adult, or years from now, whenever they're able to. Like, the example I give is, let's say your daughter wants to be an astronaut, and she's like 7 years old. And of course, that can't happen right now, but you can do research online about astronomy and famous women astronauts, or different things like that, or take them to museums, about like science museums about astronomy, and just really just kind of feed that interest that they have, because then they feel like, oh, I can still do this, and my parents think it's important, and so that means I can do it. So they kind of kids really read off of the energy that you give them. You don't want to, just immediately go, oh, not today, maybe one day. You still want to really let them know that it's in reach, even if it's going to be one day.
Right. I love that. That's great advice. Now, with your business with Mayahas Ideas, and that's the name of your design company, right?
Yeah.
Right. So Mayahas Ideas, what was the first step, if you can remember, when you were 8, when you wanted to learn how to design? Because you obviously didn't know how to design already. You had to learn that with the items that you create.
The main thing I did have to learn a lot about my business, but the main things that I really had to learn, because I always draw and I always create designs and ideas for, clothing designs. So that part I kind of already did every day, just drawing in my own sketchbook. The main thing I really had to learn were different pieces of running a business, like branding and marketing, and, staying connected with your audience and your customers, and, just different things like that. But of course, you start to improve as an artist and a designer as well. And I've improved a lot through my journey in that area too. But I kind of just really made whatever kind of came to mind, or whatever looked really cool or looked really interesting to me. And it was, so cool when I got my first sale, because it made me so happy to know that something I put so much love and care into creating, someone else saw that, when that same thing that I see when I, create my designs, and they wanted to basically give it a new home. So, it was really cool when I made that first step.
Now, tell us about that first sale. How did you make it? Because I know part of your story is you were wearing the designs and people started asking how they could buy them for themselves. So did you make your first sale online, or did you make your first sale with someone who happened to see your work?
I made my first sale online, and this is, again, before really even online shopping was as big as it is now. But I started online on a website called Etsy, and a lot of people are familiar with Etsy. And this was, of course, earlier on. And the reason why I actually got on there is because I saw, my mom browsing on there and on one day, and I, saw some cool items and different fashion pieces, and I was like, what is this website? And she explained what it was, and you could, buy and sell like handmade designs and stuff all over the world. And I thought that was really cool, because initially when I thought about starting a business, I'm 8 years old. I'm thinking that all businesses have to be brick and mortar stores, and I'm like, well, how am I going to hire a construction company to build my business? And or where am I going to go? Like, am I even old enough to have and so all these different questions. But Etsy and different online platforms help more people to kind of get out there and share too, and that's how I started initially.
Is Etsy still where you sell most of your stuff now, or do you sell it on your own website more?
Now I sell it on my own website, and that's mayahasideas.com. So I have, transitioned over, but it was a good stepping stone to figure out how everything kind of works.
Right. Would you advise that for other kid designers who are interested in getting started a place like in Etsy or somewhere like that, where you can sort of take small steps and learn as you go?
I think it's definitely good to look into different websites like that in terms of selling your designs. Things are different for everybody, and everyone has their own kind of formula, but it's definitely something that you should look into if you're trying to, really sell a product and have somewhere that's kind of, you can take to it a little bit quicker.
Right. Now, you started your business, as we said, at 8 years old, and then by the time you were 13, the business was making 6 figures, right?
Yeah, so that was really cool, to see how much my business was really growing. And the thing that was most exciting for me, and it's still exciting for me because I'm always working to scale and grow my business, is that the thing that's most exciting for me, especially at that time when I was starting to make that kind of money, was that I was able to start giving back more and, donating more. Because that was one of the main goals, to be able to give back through my business. And the more I scaled up and the more I grew and the more money I made, the more I was able to give back and also put into my own nonprofit organization too. So it was, really cool to get to that point.
And how do you do it? Do you do it based on a percentage of your sales that you give back to certain organizations and your own?
Yeah, it's always 10 to 20%.
What's the name of your nonprofit? It broke up a little bit there. What's the name of your nonprofit?
My nonprofit is called Mayahas Ideas for the Planet.
Love it. And what kind of things do you, obviously things for the planet, but is it very focused on the environment?
It's definitely, my nonprofit is definitely focused on the environment, but one project I'm currently working on that I'm really passionate about is I've created eco-friendly sanitary pads for women and girls in developing countries.
Wow.
And so that's one project. I've partnered with 2 other organizations for the distribution of the pads, and that project's really becoming a reality. And I had a shipment sent out to it's a women's healthcare facility in Dakar, Senegal, and I got I saw so much of a positive response from the women there, and just seeing how it's really helped them is just so amazing. And I'm so glad that I've been able to do that through my business and my nonprofit.
That's amazing. Now, how did that become a passion for you, or something that you wanted to? Obviously, it's something that's very helpful and necessary, but how did that become an area of focus for you?
It started several years ago when I learned through doing just research how a lot of girls in developing countries cannot go to school on their monthly cycle because they don't have any sanitary pads to wear, which seems like something that we may be able to quickly pick up at like a drugstore here, but it's such a huge need there. And like those average 5 days out of every month of them not going to school leads to the girls dropping out, and it's just a big chain reaction. And so I wanted to do something about this issue, and I also wanted to do something that also was better for the environment, because I have heard of other initiatives that may be trying to make an impact on this issue, but they're using the disposable pads, which, one, they run out, and they're completely gone, and then you have the problem again, and then, 2, they're harsher on the environment because of the materials they're made from. So, I basically made some to where they can be used for long periods of time. They can be rewashed, and there's several to the kit, and it's been really successful, and I'm really excited about how it's growing.
That's amazing. So you're going to continue to work with different countries or different organizations to distribute it to different countries in places like Africa.
Yeah, and I've just actually sent out another shipment through an organization here in Atlanta called MedShare, and so that's in progress right now, so I'm excited.
I love that. Now, one of the things you also have is your new book, fairly new, within the past few months, right?
Yes. So
You Got This. Tell us about your book and how it encourages all women, but young women especially, to go after their dreams.
So You Got This came about because every day, and still, of course, even today, I get so many emails and comments and, messages from people from all ages, from all around the world about, that they've been inspired and that they want to do something to start following their passion, or they want to start their own business, or they want to do something to give back, and they want to know how they can start. How did I start, and what can I do to start following my passion or to start making an impact on the world? And that's basically why I wrote my book, because it's just all about my journey, the things that I've learned, how I started, and what you can take from, all of my experiences so far. And it's not a how-to, like, no one has all the answers. This is just my own journey. And it's especially targeted towards young people, because a lot of young people are still trying to not only figure out what they want to do with their life, but also even who they are, and just kind of really talking about, hey, I'm still a normal teenager and I'm still trying to figure things out, but I've had a lot of really interesting experiences that, most teenagers haven't had by starting my own business. And I've been getting a really great response of, kids and teens and adults, and especially makes me happy to see girls that have been inspired and have been empowered, and they're trying new things and they're starting their own businesses. And not only does it talk about how to get started with your passion, but it also talks about how you can give back in some way through doing what you love, which I think is really important to do. So, yeah, my book is something that I'm really passionate about, and I think that, it's really helping a lot of people, and I'm really happy about that.
That's excellent. I'm so proud of you as a writer, from one writer to another. I'm so proud of you for doing that. I remember when I first saw the galley, I was like, oh my gosh, Maya's writing a book. That's fantastic. Well, this isn't your first book, though. This is your first book like this, right?
Yes, so I have two other books that I wrote and illustrated myself, and they're self-published, and they're just some nice kids' books. One is called Wild Rhymes, and it's a rhyming book, and the second one is called Lucy and Sammy Save the Environment. But this book, You Got This, is published by Simon & Schuster, and you can find it in Barnes & Noble and Books A Million, and you can get it online or in store for both. And it's like my first legit book, like an actual
they're
book
all legit,
for
but I know what you
everybody.
mean. Yes.
Yeah.
Published by a big publishing house and all that good stuff. Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm going to have links to everything so people can find them, but I'm glad we were able to talk about it and let people know about it. So now, like you said, your book isn't a how-to or a manual. It's really talking about your experiences. But what would you say your advice would be to other young girls, young women listening, or young people in general who want to be entrepreneurs, who might feel overwhelmed that they have, like you have Maya's ideas, all these ideas in your head? What would you say is the first step they should take to trying to figure out what they want to do or what they want to try first?
I think the first thing to do is start writing down your ideas and start really listening to all of your ideas. What I talk about in the book is I talk about keeping an idea journal. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I say, keep an idea journal, keep an idea book is because every day we have so many different ideas for, maybe this could be a business, or this could be a product, or this could be, et cetera, et cetera. But our brain has pretty much created a filter for what's good and what's bad, and, maybe this would never work, or maybe this would work. And I think it's important to really just kind of think about what you're thinking about and write down all of your ideas, even if they seem kind of silly at the time. So so one is keeping an idea journal, kind of sorting out all of your ideas and all of your thoughts. And then it's really zeroing in and doing research about what it is that you want to start a business from. And then finding mentors and, people that have been in that field or that can give you sound advice about, this is how I started, these are some of the things you need to look out for. These are some things you might want to try. Mm-hmm. And also, as your business starts growing and growing, a few things to remember are it's important to put together an advisory board. I've recently put together an advisory board. I have my own board now, and I have different people, and they're there to help me kind of just get more ideas and sort things out and get different points of views, because I'm really scaling up my business right now. And I think as you start moving forward, it's important to put together an advisory board. And then on top of that, really be aware that you will face different things as you start scaling up. You will have not only new opportunities as you kind of get to your next level, but you're also going to have new challenges, as your business starts to grow. And you kind of have to recalibrate how you run your business and how you run things, like every level. Mm-hmm. And, it's important to be, ready to make big shifts in how you kind of work your business, because there's a huge difference in how maybe $1 million company is run and a $10 million company is run. You think they kind of would be almost like in the same realm, but they're totally not. So just kind of evolving with your company, I think, is also important to know too.
Excellent. Now, with your advisory board, how did you choose those people, first of all, and then also how do you interact with them? So, is it like you have monthly calls or weekly, or what is an example of how they advise you?
Okay, so I do calls with the people on my board, and um, basically the interaction, do calls and meetings. Basically, the interaction is, kind of talking about um, what my goals are, how we're going to try to move forward, and what other goals we should probably be, putting in place in order to move forward, and just kind of suggestions and really just being advised. That's why it's called an advisory board. And the way I pick these people is by finding people. You want somebody that's in your field, that's kind of, been through the waters, that can help you navigate, the areas that you're navigating right now in your business. And then it's also important to have an attorney, for example, on your board as well. It's just kind of, you need like a variety of people that can advise you in different areas and give you different unique perspectives on what you need to do moving forward with your business.
Excellent. Now I have to ask you, okay, so you have your business, Maya's Ideas, and you have your speaking. I know you've done, what, 3 TED Talks already?
Yeah.
Just a few. Many people haven't done one. You have your books, and you're speaking all around and doing your book tour, or have done your book tour and all of those things. How do you balance it all? Because I assume school comes in there somewhere as well.
So education has, always come first, and that's, still top of the list and very important. And, you know, we also, me and my parents trying to make sure that I have a good work-life balance, because I'm still a kid and I still, hang out with friends, and I still, need to take time to, of course, relax. And I think it doesn't matter how young or old you are, you still need to take a break just as much as you can when it comes to, running your business, and really doing things like meditation, meditation for me, breathing and prayer, and just taking time to kind of be still and to reflect. It helps me think clearer, it helps me make better business decisions, and it just kind of gives you a more clarity and a better sense of how to move forward with a lot of things when you just kind of take a little bit of time to yourself. But I am homeschooled, so it does help my schedule a little bit. But of course, I still have to do education first, and then everything else. And I still need to make sure that I have time to just relax and do normal 16-year-old things. So
Right, you are right,
yeah.
exactly. That's so smart for people at any age. Now, I'm excited to hear that you meditate. That's wonderful. How were you first introduced to meditation? Has that always been a part of your life, or has that something that you've discovered recently?
It's actually always been a part of my life. Mostly my mom. We always used to do like meditation and yoga together, even when I was like little, and it's always just been really fun and relaxing for me. So I still try to implement that and take time to do that as much as I can. Even just in every day and through my business. So.
Excellent. Now, what does your support network look like? Is it primarily your parents, the advisory board that you mentioned? Are there other things or other systems that you have in place that support you as well? Do you have a team, for example? I don't know how many people you have in your business.
So my support network is, of course, my parents and my family. Then also, my advisory board. But then on top of that, I also kind of have different mentors too. I call them friend tours, a lot of them, because
friend tours? I love that.
Yeah, they've become friends now, as well as mentors, and a few are, and they also count as like big influences for me, are Pat Mitchell is one. She coordinates all of the TED Women events, and she's just really amazing. Bernice King, she's just so strong and she's so supportive, and she's just incredible as well. And also another is Alexis Ohanian, and he's the co-founder of Reddit, and he's been a big supporter of mine as well, and he has a lot of sound advice. So just kind of, it's important to have a support network of people, especially when it comes to friends and family. Not only having people that support your business and say, oh yeah, that's really cool that you have your own company, etc., but that also understand that you need to take time to actually run your business. Like, you have a good support network. You have a group of friends that maybe they want to, go out for dinner that night or go out for lunch, but, oh, I can't, I have a business meeting I have to handle. And they understand that. They understand that you have to actually be committed to growing your business. And they understand that you have to take time to work on running your business. I think it's important to have people that are understand that, this is real, and that people are also like-minded, and are really kind of looking out for you and for your business, even if they don't know anything about entrepreneurship.
Right. That's what I say too. Even if people don't know about entrepreneurship, or they don't know what you're doing, or they don't necessarily even care about your particular industry, but they care about you. That's the important thing.
Yeah, that's really important.
Excellent. Now, if there's one thing you wish someone would have told you about entrepreneurship before you started when you were 8 years old, what would that be?
I'm trying to think, because I've honestly had so many different experiences through starting my business. But I think one thing that one thing that and I've really learned is stuff takes time, and it's totally okay to make mistakes. And it's actually really good to make mistakes when it comes to running your business. And I learned this kind of earlier on, and not even really making mistakes, but maybe things just don't go as planned. It's okay for things to fail, because you learn from those experiences, and then you gain experience, and you learn, well, this is what I can implement next time. This is what I can do next time. This is how I can get better at this, or this is something that I won't do again, or that I will do but differently. I think that a lot of people kind of get really scared when something doesn't go right, or things don't happen overnight, or things don't happen as planned, because they think that, oh, it's automatically over, I can't come back from that. And that's totally, totally wrong. It's really actually healthy to make mistakes, or for things to fail in your business, because you learn a lot from each trial and error situation, and you also gain knowledge that you can share with other entrepreneurs as well as they start moving forward.
Excellent advice, Maya. What would you say is a mistake that you may have experienced in your business, whether early on or recently, or a big learning experience in your business that has taught you a different way to move forward?
Well, everyone's kind of had their different roadblocks as they've been evolving in their business. My first one was really getting traffic to my company and getting people to notice my business very early on. Mm-hmm. And, I just basically had to learn that things don't really happen overnight. But once things really start moving and they become successful, all of the work and all of the time and all of the waiting and everything that you put into it definitely becomes worth it. And especially now that we're in a day and age where, you have technology and social media everywhere, and everything is instantaneous, and everything, is a viral sensation overnight, and then everyone thinks that that's how it's going to happen. That's how they're going to get people interested in what they're doing, or interested in their business.
Right.
And then they go for it, and nothing happens for months, even years, maybe. But that's, you just have to keep working and figuring out what you can do more. How can you, what people can you connect with? What connections can you make? What things can you change or update to bring in more people noticing your business? And not worrying if things don't grow as quickly, because I think that kind of gets a lot of businesses and entrepreneurs in trouble when they, just get discouraged because they think that everything's going to happen instantaneously, and it doesn't. I mean, it takes a lot of cultivating and a lot of time in most cases. So you cannot ever be discouraged if things are kind of going a little slowly starting out. And one thing I'm actually working on now as I'm scaling up my business even more is kind of a completely different situation, as I was talking about earlier, when it comes to when you start scaling up, you have to you come across new challenges and new things to work out and figure out. And, one thing I'm working on right now is how, finding different manufacturers to kind of mass produce a lot of my items while still keeping the eco-friendliness and the sustainability aspect. So there's just kind of different things that you have to kind of figure out and work with. But every experience is definitely needed.
Definitely. And as you say, the challenges change as you change or as your business evolves. So it'll be something new every time that'll make you stronger as you move forward, move through it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Now, what's the greatest lesson you would say having a business has taught you about yourself as a young woman?
I think what I've really learned through my business, and I've already kind of silently agreed with, but I've learned even more, is how important it is to support other women and other young entrepreneurs.
Yay, Maya! I'm cheering for you over here.
Which is basically the whole premise of your podcast,
right.
Which is why I'm so excited to be a guest, because I just love everything that it's for, and how you inspire other women and entrepreneurs to really kind of reach back and support each other.
Right.
I think that's so important. That's something I've learned so much through my business, because when I go out and I do public speaking and I speak here, or I'm on my book tour and I'm doing a book signing, and you see these different young entrepreneurs that they have an idea and they want to know how to get started, and how I've been able to help them and inspire them through what I'm doing has been totally mind-boggling for me. And it's just made me so happy that I've been able to, give other, young girls like me the confidence and the knowledge to start their own businesses as well. And it's really fulfilling. And I think that's something that's so, so important to do. And it's kind of like, honestly, in my opinion, should be everyone's duty as an entrepreneur to share knowledge. And sharing and receiving knowledge part is how you grow as an entrepreneur. So that's what I've really learned. I've learned the importance of that.
Excellent. Now, you wrote recently, I love to pull quotes from people. You wrote recently that confidence is not being afraid to do things afraid. When's the last time you did something afraid, and how did you get through that fear? Because I think fear is another thing that stops a lot of us as entrepreneurs of all ages from even trying in the first place.
I think that it's not like I've gotten over my fear of everything. Like, for example, even now when I do public speaking, I still get nervous. Mm-hmm. Even though I've had experience speaking, I still totally get nervous because I want to make sure that, what I'm trying to say comes out clearly and that it makes sense and that I'm not rambling, which I have a tendency to do a lot. Mm-hmm. And but I think really right now it's kind of a little bit scary kind of scaling up sometimes, because you might be so used to being at one stage and you're going to go to the next level, and there's going to be it's going to be a whole new arena, as you start really moving forward with your business. But I'm also really excited to be scaling up even more now too, because I know I'll be able to do even more with my company and with my brand as a whole. But right now, just kind of, I'm in that process of evolving with my business, and I think you're always going to do that. As long as you have your company, you're always going to be evolving with your business. And it is really important. The, confidence is not being afraid to do things afraid, because people think that, even still people think that being brave means, oh, I just have to get over this fear of this and everything's going to be fine.
Right.
And, sometimes you get even more stressed out trying to psych yourself out of being scared of whatever that thing is. And sometimes you just have to go for it and do it afraid and be comfortable and knowing that, yeah, I'm nervous about this. I'm honestly scared, maybe even terrified about moving forward with this thing. But it's a natural human emotion that we all experience no matter what. And I think kind of being comfortable in that is a form of confidence. And it helps you to really get past your fear in that way by not being afraid of being afraid.
Excellent. That's an excellent answer and excellent advice. And I think to your point about not thinking that you get rid of that fear, for me, I always tell people too, the fact that you're afraid, or in your case, as you said, you're nervous about this speech, is because you've decided that it matters to you. If you weren't worried about it or whatever, growing your business or any of these things, if it didn't matter to you, you probably wouldn't be afraid of it or have any kind of emotion tied to it. But it just means that it matters to you.
That's such an important point. That's actually, I've never really thought about it in that way. Yeah, that really changes a lot of things.
Yep, it matters to you. Excellent. So in closing and wrapping up, if you think over your life and career and you had the chance to thank only one person whose support was critical to you personally or professionally, who would it be and what would you say?
Oh, wow. I have to think about that. Because I've had so many people that have, helped me on my journey. Honestly, I personally, every day, I thank God for, really instilling in me not only the idea to start my business, but, putting in place the different people that I've met along the way. And, for me, my faith helped me in my business, and that's been my own personal guidance, with me and in my family. And so that's if I had to thank just one single person, that's who I thank, and I thank him every day for, blessing me with all these different ideas and the ability to help other people too through my business. So
excellent. I love that. Excellent. So now, final question, how can we support you? I'll have linked to your website and to your book and everything else, but what are the ways that we can support you? What are you excited about? Tell people about social media, where we can find you and all that good stuff.
So, of course, my book, you can find it at Barnes & Noble, and you can get it online on Barnes & Noble and in the store. It's also at Books A Million. The book is called You Got This, Unleash Your Awesomeness, Find Your Path, and Change Your World. And then as for my social media, my Twitter is Maya's Ideas Shop, and then my Instagram and my Facebook are both Maya's Ideas. And then my website itself, where you can find all of my designs, is mayasideas.com. And for all of your listeners, you can get 20% off of all orders, $50 or over, if you use the coupon code SupportIsSexy.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. That's wonderful.
And for my nonprofit, that's just Maya's Ideas for the Planet, and it's the number 4. So mayasideasfortheplanet.org. And I think that's everything.
Excellent. Maya's Ideas number 4, theplanet.org.
Yep. And thank you so much again for everything that you do, and thank you for all the support you've given me, over the years as well. It's just so amazing.
Absolutely.
That what you do other entrepreneurs.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's been just magical, really, watching you rise and all of the things that you're creating, and then hearing now about all of the things that you're up to and scaling. I'm so proud of you. You are one of my own.
Oh, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Before you go, do you have a last word, a parting piece of advice from you to our listeners?
I think my last parting piece of advice is just go for it, no matter how silly or crazy it sounds. Just go for it. If you care about it, then make sure that you stay with your passion, you stay with your vision, no matter what. You never want to lose sight of what your original passion and your goals are, because I think really, keeping in mind why you started is why you will continue, and why you will also continue to grow. Because when people see that you really have a passion behind what you're doing, even tons of years from now, they see that you still have that passion for your business. They always will want to support you and help you move forward, because they know that you care about what you're doing and you care about where your business really goes. So, as much as possible, do what you love and stay committed to it, even when things get a little bit rough, and just go for it no matter what.
Excellent. Maya Penn, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay, hold on just a second. All right. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you got something out of this episode. And the challenge is to take at least one thing from the episode. You can always do more than one thing, but at least one thing from the episode. Take action, move forward today. You can also check out previous episodes that I've done with past inspiring women entrepreneurs and creatives. Go to supportissexypodcast.com. Again, supportissexypodcast.com. Check out previous episodes, leave comments, get in touch with me. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to hear in the future. I am here to support you. While you're there, be sure to click the free resources button and check out some things that I'm offering completely free. That's why they're free resources, including an audio training on making brave decisions. You can also support me by leaving a review on iTunes or Stitcher, wherever you're listening to this. Let me know what you think about the podcast. Leave a rating. Hopefully it's a 5-star rating, but that would really help me, and I would love to hear from you. So now, you know what to do. Go out there and create something sexy, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.